Let's take a look at medical tourism in Nigeria. With the increasing population of Nigerians exiting the country to seek medical treatment abroad and the huge impact on the nation's economy, it has become a matter of urgency to revamp the health sector to edge the ugly trend. Tens of thousands of Nigerians travel every year to other countries for treatments ranging from kidney transplant, open heart or cardiac surgeries, neurosurgeries, cosmetic surgeries, orthopedic surgeries, eye surgery, and other health conditions, to the extent of delivering babies over there.
It's all about stopping medical tourism in Nigeria. Alliance Hospital is in partnership with a chain of hospitals across the world, especially in the Middle East and in India. We observe the problem and we are tired of talking about the problem, so we decide to do something about it.
It is estimated that Nigeria loses about $1.3 billion to medical tourism yearly, which has caused a huge burden on the nation's economy.
Every year, Nigeria loses over $1 billion to other countries through medical tourism. And they go for tertiary care services like open heart surgeries, kidney transplants, orthopedic surgeries like joint replacement, spine surgeries, and cancer treatment. And so we decided to partner with this hospital consortium, VPS, and so we've set up a surgical center in Alliance Hospital, and it's called the New Hope Alliance Hospital Surgical Center. And through this arrangement, we have the best of experts, specialists from India and from other countries to come to Alliance Hospital to perform high-end, very highly specialized surgeries. And so far, it's been excellent, I can tell you. We've done a number of kidney transplants and very successful. And one of the patients actually came in from India. An Indian patient came in for kidney transplant here in Alliance Hospital. And I don't know the exact reasons, but I think he had some problems with getting a donor. And the daughter lives here in India. And so he flew in, had a surgery, because he already knows about the profile of our kidney transplant surgeon. He's one of the best in the world. He has done over 5,000 kidney transplants. So it was easy for him to submit himself for a kidney transplant here. And of course, after 2 weeks, he flew back to India with his new kidney. And today we're having about 6 open heart surgeries. We have done 2 already, and we are going in for the 3rd one any moment from now. Well, I'm an orthopedic surgeon. I'm just a facilitator. The various experts would do their job. The spine surgeons will do the spine surgeries. The cardiothoracic surgeons will do the heart surgeries. The orthopedic surgeons will do the kidney, the knee replacement and the hip replacement and other complex orthopedic procedures, and so on and so forth. The same thing with brain. We just acquired an operating microscope. It's very expensive, but operating microscope is in the neighborhood of 20 million naira just to get one, and it's functional now. So there are a lot of benefits of this program that we're into. And in a few months, I want to believe that we will not have any need to get patients on the plane to go outside of Nigeria for any surgical procedure. Our target initially is to do about 300 open heart surgeries in a year, and around that number of kidney transplants in a year. Yeah, and that was cause a significant dent on the number of people who will need to go out for this kind of procedures.
the inadequacy of Nigeria's health system has been traced to the thriving foreign medical tourism due to poor service delivery, poor funding, unavailability of human capital, poor infrastructure and absence of specialist services, among other flaws.
A larger vision of growing healthcare in Nigeria, and Dr. Ottobol fitted that perfectly well. We were able to hit it off together. We had a good chemistry between us, and the willingness to improve the infrastructure of the hospital at short notice, willingness to look at an openness to have other specialists come in and improve the quality of healthcare. That requires the person to be very secure about themselves, and I felt that that came in abundance from him. So as a partner, I met a lot of people, but I felt most comfortable with him, and that's why I chose to do it with Alliance Hospital.
Okay. According to the World Health Organization (WHO), Nigeria is currently ranked 187 out of 190 countries in the Health Index. While the country is suffering from the alarming rate of medical tourism, brain drain has also been linked to the ugly trend, as the best physicians are leaving the country to seek better paying job and working environment abroad, especially in the US and Canada, where they would be respected. Until Nigeria strengthens its health system and returns confidence to Nigerians on services being provided in its hospitals, the country may not be able to reverse medical tourism.
I've been watching this city for most of my life, and I've seen it grow, and I can't believe how quickly it is growing. Dateline Abuja here in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, just makes sense. This city is at the center of so many stories, culturally, socially, and economically. When you look at Abuja, what do you see? When you see a market, I see a melting pot of culture. Where most people see construction, I see development. A road, I see connectivity. The lake, I see possibilities. This is my city. See it from a different perspective.
For news, people, places, events, and lifestyle, Dateline Abuja, here in the Federal Capital Territory.
Education is the process of facilitating learning, according to Wikipedia, or the acquisition of knowledge, skills, values, beliefs, and habits. It is the act or process of impacting or acquiring general knowledge, developing the powers of reasoning and judgment, and generally preparing oneself and others intellectually for mature life. The quality of education in any country is one of the major keys to national development. The decline in the quality of standard of education in Nigeria is alarming because it has not been paid adequate attention. Welcome to another episode of Dateline Abuja on AIT. I'm Hawa Momo, and today we'll be looking at challenges facing the education sector in Nigeria and possible solutions. Stay with us.
One thing that has crippled most sectors in Nigeria today is poor governance. The educational sector is not an exception. The government's attitude towards crucial problems of education, especially its quality, is lackadaisical. This situation can be noticed on every level of government. Basic universal education suffers most because primary education is neither fully controlled by the federal government nor by the state or the local government.
Part of the problems that we're facing is actually low enrollment in schools, in primary and secondary school, and this is it's a clear and obvious problem because a lot of people will rather send their kids to go out hawking maybe bread or sachet water just to make ends meet for the family, because that's the most basic of those needs, forgetting that the future of those kids are being jeopardized. So there has to be a way where governments must create an enabling environment to encourage prospective pupils to leave the streets and come back into the educational system so that they get to see the benefits of being educated. Because if they're not educated, they actually do not stand any chance at all. But with some bit of education, yes, they can compete with their peers up to the global level, especially in these days of globalization where the entire world is a global village. Within the confines of your room, you can actually transact business globally. So once our children begin to understand and imbibe this, then they begin to come up with creative ways. But first, there has to be a way to attract them, let them see that it is possible. And of course, in cases where we have to go after them, we will go after them just like we do with the nomadic education. But I think priority should be on attracting them to come in, see the relevance. Then they deliberately want to be a part of it and they want to be a better person, not just for themselves, but for the community. But they need to see the need to be a better person first by educating themselves. I think that's the bulk of where the problem is. A set of people that does not remember its history definitely will go into oblivion. It's a matter of time. So our people must begin to understand not just where we're going, but where we're coming from, so that we can better appreciate the journey itself.
Possibly, one of the greatest challenges facing education in Nigeria is inadequate funding and neglect by the federal, state, and local governments, thus leading to inadequate infrastructures, teaching aids, quality teachers, and poor or polluted learning environment. United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization (UNESCO) recommends that 26% of the nation's budget should be allocated to the educational sector. This way, the educational sector will have a good impact on the national development.
We want the government to come into educational sector. They should pour in money and they should look at them with two eyes, not with one eye. Train the teachers, help the children to go to school by assisting the parents with finance. I am the product of UPE. And without UPE, I wouldn't have been here. I thank you for the government of 70s that introduced UPE. And I believe education is key. Without education, you'll be nowhere. I know the value of education. That's why I introduced foundation to train children to school so that they will acclimatize with every society. I try to give them books, give them the basic. But what about the teachers? The teachers, we need to train the teachers that will train the children. After training them, we need to also motivate them, give them quality training, and then take care of their welfare. I know in the 70s, teachers are well paid. They have cars. They are given houses. So, what will stop them from training us? Even now, as I'm talking, all the lawmakers, the government, the ministers, they are all product of public schools. And they have all enjoyed UPE.
In the year 2017, Nigeria's education sector was again allocated much lower than the 26% of national budget recommended by the United Nations. The global organization recommended the budgetary benchmark to enable nations adequately cater for rising education demands. But in the proposal presented to the National Assembly, President Muhammadu Buhari allocated only 7.04% of the 8.6 trillion 2018 budget to the education.
Educational sectors, we need trained teachers. The teachers are not qualified. Even if they are qualified, they need to be updated. They need to be trained from time to time. This world is full of dynamic. They need to be updated so that our children can also be updated too. And then lack of motivation. A lot of states in this country, they are not taught, they are not paid. Some of the teachers are not paid for 5 months, 8 months. How can you expect a hungry teacher to teach our children? Our children will not, they will not. When you cannot teach with empty stomach. Maybe even the money, the transport money to go to teach the children, is not there. So I went to a school in one of the government schools. Where are your teachers? They say, she's not around. Why? That she's not, throughout this term, she has not been around. Who teaches you? They said, she's the English teacher and she has not resumed for almost 3 months now. Because she does not even have the money for transport, to feed. She's still hungry. So, and again, the financial issue. Some of these parents don't even have money. The government have introduced sundry charges. These sundry charges is outrageous. Some cannot even afford the sundry charges. When you say 3,500, how many people can afford 3,500 for a child?
The total sum allocated to the sector is 605.8 billion naira, with 435.1 billion naira for recurrent expenditure, 61.73 billion naira for capital expenditure, and 109.6 billion naira for the Universal Basic Education Commission. In past years, schools and other vocational institutions have collapsed due to abject neglect by governments. Our tertiary institutions having to fall into dilapidation, and products of such schools are not given adequate training to compete with other products of another country.
Lack of facilities in schools, especially the secondary schools. The science labs, they are empty. How do you expect a child to learn, to read science without practical? It's not possible. Even the home economics lab, if you go, you don't see anything. You need to train the women, skill acquisition. During our time in the 70s, we learned needlework. You can sew your clothes without going to tailor. You learn how to cook, bake cake, and this one will assist you. Even if you don't get a job, you can also use it for commercial use. You can earn money through the sales of your cake. So the government have to come into it. Like the Almajiri issue, which we are talking about, is because of the government negligence. From my own opinion, Almajiri should be scrapped. Islam does not say you should beg. It's not in the Islamic book. Islam does not encourage begging. You should fend for yourself. So this is a mere kind of laziness. You give birth to children, you cannot train them, you cannot take them to school, you just throw them in the streets. And this is where it's a breeding ground for all these bad boys around. We want the government to come into educational sector. They should pour in money and they should look at them with 2 eyes, not with 1 eye. Train the teachers, help the children to go to school by assisting the parents with finance.
Many schools lack basic education for conducive learning, most especially for practical classes, and those that claim to have are managing the old ones. Most schools and institutions in Nigeria are in very bad conditions. The teaching environment is not conducive. Buildings are in bad shape and most of them lack teaching materials. Schools lack practical or technical facilities. These all make education to be rather theoretical and quantitative than qualitative.
I've been watching this city for most of my life and I've seen it grow. And I can't believe how quickly it is growing. Dateline Abuja here in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, just makes sense. This city is at the center of so many stories, culturally, socially and economically. When you look at Abuja, what do you see? When you see a market, I see a melting pot of culture. Where most people see construction, I see development. A road, I see connectivity. The lake, I see possibilities. This is my city. See it from a different perspective.
For news, people, places, events, and lifestyle, Dateline Abuja, here in the Federal Capital Territory.
Join us same time, same station for a continuation of this topic. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for a repeat broadcast and also follow any of our social media handles showing right now on your TV screen. I'm Hawa Momo. Bye for now.